And we back. We're going to continue the conversation. So this is a series that I'm doing for next gen. What is next gen? What could it mean moving forward? So without further ado, let's get into it. Kalika-lika-low. All right, I'm glad that you are back, and we're going to continue this conversation, this discussion. Previously, in the last video, we went over privacy, ads, security, and in this one, we're going to talk about a few other things. But if you could hit the subscribe button, the like, the comment, all that other great stuff, as I am new to this and I am trying to constantly put out content that I believe that you guys are interested in, and the only way I'm going to know it is with feedback. And so let's jump into it now. Like I said, this is a series. We just talked about privacy, ads, and security. And even with that being said, with security, there's two things I forgot to mention on the last one. We'll just carry over. When the Xbox 360 had the Connect, there was a conversation of it always being on, always being recording, and the same conversation that came up when Sony on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4, they had their iToy, whether or not it was always on. And it ran into the same, I guess the solution of it was you just disconnected it every time you weren't using it because you just felt it was always on, even though I believe they publicly both said no, it isn't on. The same way that you would if you had a webcam on your laptop or computer, things of that nature. It's not uncommon nowadays to see people with a little bit of tape or something over it, or they disconnect it unless they're using it. So again, it's a concern that people did have, and I just don't think it's something that's brought to the table when they're, I guess, gearing us up for the new systems. And with the security part of it, kind of even going into it recently, what just happened is PlayStation 5 is getting ready to launch, and PlayStation 5 kind of did an update, or PlayStation 4, Sony in general, did an update. And during that update, it did change some of the messaging and things that came off when you jumped into a group chat. And if you've ever played it, similar to Discord, you would do a side group chat and you would talk and play with friends, or you might have 8 people in a group chat, even though you all are playing different games just to conversate. That's what you do. And for the PlayStation 5 and the PlayStation 4, I believe it's more pointing towards the PlayStation 5 next gen, that it was going to record your conversations, and without everyone getting the full information, and maybe without Sony fully, saying what the information, people are like, oh, here we go now we're dealing with monitoring and things of that nature. And Sony came out really quickly and said, hey, look, we apologize, we're going to work on some stuff and relook at it, and we'll let you guys know as the progress goes. But they also said, hey, look, the goal isn't to monitor what you're saying. The goal was simply to have a quality of life that we'd be able to make sure that everyone is treated the right way online when they're playing the way we intend. So they came out and say, hey, listen, it's not going to always be monitoring. It monitors basically, I think, and I could be wrong, it's something like it's going to be 5 minutes of your conversation that's online both ways. And it's going to do 10 seconds before you log off or log on while you're, again, in a chat. And every time you get in a chat, you're saying yes to these rules. So basically what it's supposed to be is you're in a situation, it goes into our next topic. You're in a situation and someone says something that's not appropriate for whatever reason. It's harmful, it's wrong, it's whatever. And when they say something that you feel harassed about, you really didn't have proof of it unless you were screen capture, streaming, things of that nature. But if you were just in a chat, you didn't really have anything. The conversation just was volatile, it was foul, it was inappropriate, disrespectful, whatever you want to use. And what they're saying is we're going to be able to record just enough that if you felt that happened, you're able to go back and report it, and we have that information. We're not going to record every situation. So if it happened right then and there, then we'll deal with it. But if it happened 2 or 3 hours into the chat, we don't have that information. I believe that's what they're gearing to. So almost like a DVR type of thing, hitting the rewind button 15 seconds is like, hey, look, we only have, 5 minutes. We only have 10 seconds when the person came on and when the person left. So that leads me into the conversation of harassment. What is the harassment policy or the conduct policy? We know games have them. We know systems have them. But we really, I mean, do we know? I mean, is there anything significant that happens from them? And that goes even into cheating. You know, you play a game online and you got someone who's got, you know, an aimbot, you know, and it's frustrating. You see the videos, even if it hasn't happened to you, I mean, I'm not saying it's entertaining to watch, but you'll watch someone with, you know, dealing with a hacker, or maybe a hacker gets what they deserve, or somebody who's manipulating the game or cheating gets what they deserve, type of thing. And what my question on that aspect is, who does it fall on? Does it fall on the companies that are making the system, or does it fall on the developers or the individual studios that are working on said games? And what's the cause and effect of it? Because I mean, as of right now, you've got the ability to create your own username, and I'm pretty sure there's usernames that people would think are offensive, but there's no changing to that. There's no conversation that someone must change their username. Like, you don't want to cross the line that way. And you know, what deems what as harassment? You know, when I play online and you play with someone and you hear someone being mistreated, you do jump in and you try to say something, and other times you stay quiet. I mean, I've been in rooms where, you know, I might be saying, hey guys, come on, let's not take it that way and go that direction, and somebody will be completely quiet in the whole time, and they're just there to play the game. So, you know, I don't have much to say about the harassment thing, because I think it's a bigger conversation for multiple people in it. But I don't know what that looks like next gen, because right now harassment looks like what it did when we started playing online to begin with, when Xbox took off and had their online service for games like Halo and Call of Duty. I remember it like it was yesterday. The harassment hasn't changed since then. I mean, I think if anything, obviously it's gotten worse if harassment's happening. But what I mean is, it's something as simple as saying, hey, look, you remember we played on standard television, and then we moved to component, and then we moved to HD, and now we're talking 4 and 8K. You see the progression there? There's no progression right now in harassment. And I think that's a conversation we should have on it. So now the other thing I would speak on is the out of the box experience when it comes to creating content. And what I mean by that is the progression of opening, you know, your new gen system, next gen system. And when you turn it on, are you able out of the box to make a video and go ahead and do what we're doing right now, having discussions about stuff, or showing off your ability PvP kills, or maybe walking someone through a level that's tough, or whatever the case is. I would be really interested in how we're doing that moving forward. Now, I know Xbox just recently, for the first time, they've added a designated share button, something that Sony's already had in the current gen system. And I don't know, because I did not play the Xbox One. I've had all the other Xbox prior, so I don't know. I mean, let me know in the comment if I'm wrong, but did Xbox have anything that allowed you to create content more than just, I guess, streaming it out? Because I think a lot of companies have it where you can stream out, but where you can edit videos and do things, because the PlayStation 4 did have the Share Factory, which allowed you, and it's already been confirmed that the Share Factory on the PlayStation 5 is bigger, more revamped, but it allows you to edit and make thumbnails and do things that do the production the same way that maybe Photoshop or DaVinci Resolve would do, to allow someone to create contents and put them online, on top of the editing, on top of the streaming that you're able to do out of the box. So it'd be interesting to see if these systems are able to stream with good quality and good production value out of the box, for more people to get in the conversation of creating contents. Remember, again, I'm older. So in the 90s, the conversation when a new system came out was that this system was going to sit on the coffee table. See how I did that? That's old. The coffee table, sit and be the center of entertainment. Remember, there was a time where I think Sony basically said that it would be a cable box. You would plug in your coaxial cable let's say like, whatever cable company, and it would be basically a DVR box. Like before DVRs were out, they were talking about being able to watch live television and pause it and play online. Now, a lot of that stuff didn't come to fruition, but now with streaming the way it is now, do you think that these systems will still be the centerpiece of your entertainment, or is it more of something that is your mobile phone the centerpiece of your entertainment? So I mean, that's something interesting to think about and look at, like the fact that some of these systems have had to change and adapt. Like Xbox now has what they like to call like an ecosystem. I was telling some friends about Microsoft's strategy with an ecosystem where they wanted to fit in with PC and your phone and your console and take it with you. And you look at Nintendo and Nintendo Switch, how they have their ecosystem is the same thing. It's like, hey, listen, the Switch allow you to play here and take it there and get more people involved in the game. As of right now, Sony doesn't Sony doesn't really have an ecosystem. At least I haven't seen one, because again, they're not making mobile phones to that degree anymore. To my knowledge, there's no conversation on a PSP 3 or 4. Right now you're just finding out that the controller for the PlayStation 5 will work on mobile phones and it will work on PC. And so that's great, because at the time only Xbox worked on that at the time. But yeah, so that's what we're talking about. We're talking next gen. I'm going to go ahead and do another video because I don't want this to be too long. But like I said, you could have been anywhere in the world and you're here. I appreciate that. I appreciate the comments, the likes, the subscribe, the notification bell ringing. Till next time, Kalika-lika-lao.